You still believe in God, but sometimes you wonder if He truly embraces who you are in the deepest part of your being. Your faith is still alive, but deep down, there's that silent doubt. Did God also choose you, just the way you are? You keep believing, but carry in your chest a question. The kind that asks whether you still belong in His love after everyone said you didn't. Your heart still seeks God, but something inside you asks, does He recognize you as His son, His daughter? Exactly as you are, you haven't lost your faith. It just became harder to believe that God's love includes everything you are, especially the parts that were rejected, silenced, or called wrong. If you're feeling afraid of not being accepted, afraid your prayers won't reach heaven, afraid that maybe you're a mistake in the divine plan, I have something to tell you today. There is a place where God still speaks to you, even when everyone else told you He went silent. Psalm 27 holds one of the most powerful declarations ever written. The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? And today, I want you to know that this light does not dim because of who you love. It doesn't hide because of who you are, and it doesn't leave because of what others have said about you. Because here's the truth, no one ever told you. God never stopped being your light. He never stopped being your refuge. And He is here, right now, ready to drive out every fear that was planted in your heart by voices that never knew His. Today, you will discover that the fear that's been paralyzing you for so long has no power over the light God lit just for you, and when this revelation touches your spirit, everything will change. Shall we pray together? The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? The Lord is the stronghold of my life. Of whom shall I be afraid? Psalm 27. When David wrote these words, he wasn't just crafting poetry. He was declaring a truth that echoes across the centuries to reach your heart today. The Lord is my light. This isn't an empty metaphor. It's a powerful spiritual reality. God's light is active. It pierces through darkness, untangles confusion, and brings clarity where chaos once reigned. And when you feel lost in the noise of voices questioning who you are at your core, when the uncertainty of your place in the kingdom feels overwhelming, remember this. That same light which guided David through dark valleys is available to you. It doesn't need anyone's approval to shine on your life. It is already here, dispelling every lie that whispers, "You don't belong." The word salvation in Hebrew is Yeshua. It means deliverance, rescue, relief. God is my light, and salvation is not just about eternal salvation, but the present relief God offers in every moment of distress, when the fear of rejection tightens your chest, when you wonder if your prayers even reach Him. Remember this biblical truth. God is your Yeshua now, in this very moment. He sets you free from the captivity of shame, rescues you from the lies that say you need to change to be loved. The salvation He offers includes freedom from carrying the weight of proving you deserve a place in His heart. Prayer for fear and anxiety becomes more powerful when we understand we're not praying to a distant God, but to the one who already came down to be near us. Whom shall I fear? This rhetorical question from David is revolutionary. When we truly understand that God is our light, fear loses its grip. Not the fear of hard situations, but the paralyzing fear of not being accepted, of walking in spiritual darkness. The Lord as a stronghold means there's a safe place, a shelter, where you can be fully who you are, just as you are, no masks or performances. And in that refuge, there is no judgment about who you love, about your true heart, or your faith journey. Trust God in uncertainty takes on new meaning when we realize He was never uncertain about us. Who you are on the inside, your worth, your place in his story are all secure in him. May this truth from Psalm 27 become real in your experience today. You don't need to be afraid because the one who created you also protects you. The light he gives doesn't just illuminate the path, it reveals who you are at your deepest core. Loved, chosen, accepted. Your heart can rest in the certainty that, even when everything around you feels uncertain, there is a constant presence that never questioned your worth. And if someone told you that you needed to change to draw near to God, know this: they were wrong. God has already drawn near to you, the person he dreamed of when he created you. Who you are in your unique and beautiful way is not an obstacle to divine love. It's part of the very design he approved from the beginning. Though an army besiege me, my heart will not fear. Though war break out against me, even then I will be confident. Psalm 27:3. David wasn't talking about a hypothetical battle. He knew the sound of marching soldiers, the clanging of sharpened weapons, the tension of being literally surrounded by enemies. But here in this verse, he reveals a powerful secret. True faith doesn't deny the reality of the battle. It recognizes that God is greater than any opposition. When you feel surrounded by voices questioning your identity, when even prayer feels like a fight, remember this truth. Being surrounded doesn't mean being defeated. Prayer for strength and protection finds its foundation in this reality. We don't pray to avoid battles, but to have confidence in the midst of them. And today, as you hear these words, know this: the same strength that sustained David on the battlefield is available for your heart. My heart will not fear. This is a prophetic declaration David makes even before the victory arrives. In Hebrew, the word for heart is leb, which refers not just to emotions, but to the center of our entire inner life: thoughts, will, decisions. When David says his heart will not fear, he's declaring that the core of his being will remain steady even when everything around him is in chaos. Maybe you've been through moments where it felt like even your own family was against you, where being who you are when no one is watching became the reason for inner and outer conflict. Trust God in uncertainty is exactly what shows up here. Even when circumstances scream one thing, your heart can remain anchored in a greater truth. God is bigger than the opposition you're facing. The phrase "though" appears twice in this verse. It's what we call intensified Hebrew parallelism. David is building progressively scarier scenarios. First an army, then full-blown war. But notice, with every escalation of the problem, faith's response also intensifies, from "my heart will not fear" to "even then I will be confident." This teaches us that true faith grows in proportion to the challenges we face. When you feel overwhelmed by internal battles, anxiety about being accepted by God, doubts about your spiritual worth, the burden of carrying your true heart when others reject it, remember, every battle is an opportunity to discover that God is even greater than you imagined. Prayer for fear and anxiety doesn't erase conflict, but it transforms how we see it. My prayer today is that this same unshakable confidence David had becomes real in your experience. That you understand having faith in the middle of the battle doesn't mean the absence of fear. It means making a conscious choice to look beyond what seems impossible. When your eyes are fixed on God, when your heart is anchored in His faithfulness, the circumstances may roar around you, but deep inside there is a peace that defies all human logic. Your truest essence is not a battle you have to fight alone. It is a truth God has already established and one He Himself defends. And even if entire armies rise up against the person you are, just as you are, even if voices multiply trying to convince you that you have no place in the kingdom, your faith can remain firm because it is grounded in the one who never changes, never gives up, never abandons you. My heart says of you, seek his face. Your face, Lord, I will seek. Psalm 27:8. This verse reveals one of the most intimate conversations ever recorded in the Bible. A dialogue between the human heart and God. First, God speaks to the heart. Seek my face. Then the heart responds, your face, Lord, I will seek. Seeking God's face goes far beyond religious practices. It's about building a close, daily, and sincere relationship with the Creator. When God invites you to seek his face, he's offering you a personal encounter, a connection that transcends empty rituals or spiritual performance. And to you who sometimes wonder if your prayers really reach him, know this. This invitation has no prerequisites. He wants to be found by you exactly as you are. Prayer for fear and anxiety finds its deepest healing in this intimacy, when we stop trying to impress God and start simply being with him. My heart says of you, notice it's not the mind or logic speaking, it's the heart. When you feel that spiritual hunger, that thirst for something deeper than hollow rituals, that is God calling you into greater intimacy. To seek the face of God means to pause amid the rush, to quiet the external voices trying to define who you should be and to let him reveal who you truly are in his eyes. We often search for peace, direction, meaning. But what we're really missing is this close and daily relationship with the Creator. Trust God in uncertainty becomes more natural when we understand he's not hiding from us. On the contrary, he's inviting us near, eager to be found by hearts that seek him sincerely. The beauty of this verse lies in its reciprocity. God speaks, we respond. It teaches us that prayer is not a desperate monologue pounding against an empty sky, but a real conversation with someone who is already waiting for us. When you feel spiritually isolated, when you carry the weight of having been rejected by religious communities, remember this truth. God especially desires to be found by wounded hearts. He's not intimidated by your doubts, not scared by your questions, not distant because of who you are, even if you don't follow society's standards. In fact, to seek his face is to discover that he already knew every part of who you are on the inside and chose to love you anyway, before any performance, before any change, before any external approval. May you understand today that seeking God is not about finding the right version of yourself to present to him. It's about discovering that he already knows all your versions, the one that smiles in public and the one that cries in silence, the one that has faith and the one that doubts, the one that feels strong and the one that feels lost. And in every one of those versions, his voice remains the same. Seek my face. Because when you truly seek him, when you stop trying to be who others expect you to be and simply are who you are in his presence, something powerful happens. I remain confident of this. I will see the goodness of the Lord in the land of the living. Psalm 27:13. Today, my heart turns toward you who carry this silent doubt. Will I really see the goodness of God in this life? You, who sometimes look around and wonder if he is truly working in your favor, especially when the world seems to whisper that you don't deserve his blessings. I want you to know that the goodness of the Lord is not locked away in some heavenly vault, waiting for you to become someone else in order to be released. It is here now, surrounding every part of who you are at the deepest level, your dreams, your fears, the unique way you love. The provision that came when you least expected it, that unexplainable strength on your darkest days, the right people God placed on your path. That's not coincidence. It's the fingerprint of divine love writing your story with tenderness, even when you doubted that he knew you by name. My heartfelt prayer today is that your eyes may open to see the Lord's goodness showing up in creative and surprising ways all around you. that you stop doubting whether you deserve to be blessed and start receiving with gratitude every expression of divine love. Because here's the truth. God is not saving up his blessings for later. He's pouring them out on you right now, recognizing who you are at your core as his perfect masterpiece. His goodness is not conditional on what others think of you, doesn't depend on religious approval, and isn't bound by human rules. It is free, abundant, constant, and it is being poured over your life in this very moment. Open your heart and let it in, because you were created to live in the abundance of divine love, exactly as you are. Wait for the Lord. Be strong and take heart, and wait for the Lord. Psalm 27:14. I know this word wait can feel like torture for a heart that has already waited so long, that has cried out so many times without hearing a clear answer. You, who have been waiting for acceptance, for a place where you can be who you are on the inside without fear, for signs that God really hears you when you pray alone in your room. But I want to tell you something that might change your perspective on this waiting. Waiting on God is not wasting time. It is divine preparation. While you feel like nothing is happening, he is aligning every detail, moving hearts, opening paths, preparing encounters that will transform your story. The waiting is not punishment for who you are. It is the sacred process where God is building something more beautiful than you ever imagined. And during this time, he is not silent. He is whispering to your spirit. Don't give up, something beautiful is coming. I understand how hard it is to wait in a culture where everything needs to be immediate, where everyone else seems to have quick answers and you're still in the process. Especially when you look around and see others living their lives without ever questioning if they're accepted by God, while you've carried this heavy doubt in your chest for so long. But let me reveal a secret that God wants you to know. His timing is different from ours, and that's not cruelty. It's infinite wisdom. He is not just preparing the answer. He's preparing you to receive that answer with maturity and gratitude. During this waiting, he's strengthening your faith, expanding your heart, teaching you to trust, even when you don't understand. The person you are, just the way you are, is being shaped for something extraordinary that can only happen in his perfect time. May you begin to see this waiting not as abandonment, but as an act of courage that few have the strength to sustain. Courage to keep believing when the evidence screams otherwise. Courage to keep your heart open when everything in you wants to shut down. Courage to remain faithful to the person he dreamed when he created you. Even when the world pressures you to be someone else. And if I could give you one word of encouragement today, it would be this. While you wait, God is working, not just in the circumstances, but in you. He is teaching your heart to rest in uncertainty, to find peace in the process, to discover that his presence is more important than his answers. How many times during this waiting have you felt an unexplainable peace in the middle of the storm? How many times has he breathed relief into your spirit when you needed it most? That is not coincidence. It is God teaching you that he is enough, that his presence turns any valley into a place of refreshing. I pray that you understand waiting doesn't mean doing nothing. It means praying actively, praising persistently, loving continuously the person you are, at your core. It means writing your thoughts as prayer when anxiety hits. It means walking quietly with God even when the world screams. It means holding tightly to his hand when everything seems to be falling apart. Your truest essence is being refined like gold in the fire, coming out brighter, stronger, more confident. And when the answer finally arrives, you'll realize the waiting wasn't wasted time. It was time invested in building intimacy with the Father. My desire today is that you stop seeing this waiting as punishment and start seeing it as preparation for something glorious. That you understand God isn't making you wait because you're different, but because what he has for you is far too special to be rushed. While you wait, keep being who you are, in your unique, loving way, because that's exactly the person He wants to bless. Keep loving the way you love. Keep dreaming the dreams He planted in your heart. Keep believing that you are precious in His eyes. The fear that's followed you for so long whispered lies in your ear. You're alone. You're not worthy. God has forgotten you. But today, the light of Psalm 27 shattered that darkness and revealed the truth that was always there. You are a beloved son. You are a cherished daughter. You belong to the heart of the Father. Now I want to ask you a question that could change everything in your life. Were you truly abandoned by God? Or had you just never heard Him speak directly to who you really are? Was He ever really silent? Or were you listening to the wrong voices? If this prayer spoke deeply to you, if something in your heart stirred as I was speaking, I want to pray specifically for your life. Write your prayer request down in the comments below. I want to pray with you, intercede for you, cry out alongside you. It doesn't matter what you're facing: loneliness, family, rejection, a crisis of faith, fear of the future. Put it here. Let's take it together to the throne of grace. And let me tell you something before you leave. You didn't watch this video by accident. God directed your steps here because He has something specific to say to you. He wants you to know that your faith journey is not over. It's just beginning, in a more beautiful, freer, truer way. If you want to keep walking this path of rediscovering God's unconditional love, subscribe to the channel and turn on the bell. Every week, I share prayers like this, words of healing for hearts wounded by religion, but still in love with God. You don't have to walk this path alone, because the truth that changed my life, and can change yours too, is this: the God who created you knows you, loves you, and has beautiful plans for you, just as you are. And this light that started shining in your heart today, it will never go out. Go in peace. Go in love. Go in the certainty that you are precious in the eyes of the Most High. Until the next prayer, with love, Allie.